Good evening and welcome to the conversation that matters. This is Active Citizens and you're welcome to Active Citizens Parliament. My name is Sharon Enemchuku and right here in the studio with me, I have the ever-radiant Ifoma Oji. Good evening.
Good evening, Sharon. All these phrases just for me.
You're well deserving of it.
Well,
you look really beautiful.
Thank you. And you look radiant too. Not just
Stop it. Also joining us via Zoom is Mr. Clifford Okunzoa. Good evening, sir. Can you hear me?
Good evening. Yeah, good evening.
All right. You're welcome to Active Citizens Parliament. It's a pleasure to have you here, sir.
Same with me.
All right. Now let's go straight to the stories. We were talking two seismic shifts in Nigeria's landscape. Can enforcement alone truly stamp out corruption, or is it the moral fiber of our society that must evolve? And in a bold digital move, US visa applicants are now required to disclose their 5-year social media history. A game changer in transparency or a too deep intrusion into personal space? We'll dig into how prevention may be far more impactful than punishment in uprooting graft and explore what this sweeping visa policy means for Nigerians and for the concept of privacy in a globalized world. The fact that US will the policies that they make to protect their country, especially the foreign policies, immigration policies and all of that is really amazing. But let me start with you here. What was your initial reaction when you saw this news? I mean, do you think it's too much or just them doing what they should do?
Well, I feel it's a bit too much because it seems as though US is finding every reason to, ban Nigerians or persons, Africans from getting into their country, because you could see over the years every year they come up with one or two, and of recent I think there's a $15 ban or something like that.
The $15
exactly.
Yes, we discussed that.
Yeah, we talked about it. Was it last week or so? So it's more like. Another thing is, you notice the Canadian...
Yes, calling APC and PDP terrorists.
So it's more like, okay, these people have reasons that this part of the country are this certain way. So they
have an idea, an image.
They find every means to make sure that we don't cross that border into their country. And I think it's quite sad because I remember one of the comments I made in the other time we were having this conversation. I mean, there are still well-meaning Nigerians that want to, further their education, do something meaningful with their life. Why restrict them? You could see it's not everybody that will remember the password they used in. I can't even remember mine.
Do you know that my own is not even about the password?
I've had up to 7 accounts on Facebook. I can't remember.
You are even talking about passwords. I'm going to come to you, Mr. Clifford, on this. What about people who have made some certain comments on their personal social media pages, maybe about political issues or just generally? How do you think that something that they might have said maybe for fun or for whatever reason will now affect their international prospects, Mr. Clifford?
Okay, thank you very much. I think this is a good one. Over the time, I've been one kind of person that's been advocating to post the right thing on the internet. We check this is if you go for job employment. Let's digress a bit. If you go for job employment, most of the job they require that you input your social media handle, that is your username, so that they go and search what you posted in the past. But it's not a bad idea if the US has placed this kind of thing. And we as Nigerians, it's a call for every one of us to be very mindful of how we use our social media. For me, I've always been using one social media name. The only reason why I want to change my social media username is because of my friends in school. There's a nickname I was recognized in the university. So that's the only reason I have to use that nickname, so that my friends in the university and the secondary schools, they can get to me.
Yeah.
But in the aspect of what we post on social media, I don't really see it as a bad thing that if you if you post good things, if you post good content, it's good. But if you post things against the government, I think it's a big one.
Okay, so you think if you post things against the government, it's a big thing?
Posting against the government, it must be constructively.
Okay, I get your point. That's better.
When you are criticizing, yes, when you are criticizing the government, it must be very constructive. And if you are making any claims, those
should be verified
by evidence. Even the US, they are not fools. So you understand my point now?
No, I understand what you're saying, Mr. Clifford.
Your statements are and the backup evidence. I think it's a go for them.
Okay, all right. Okay, let me say, for example,
the ball is on your court.
Okay, thank you so much. Let me say, for example, someone uses social media platforms for probably joke, maybe pick on somebody, mimic somebody and stuff like that. We even have Gen Z baddies do all this TikTok challenge and the rest of them. Imagine the US going into your social media handles and then finding this. They will be like, this person is not a
but that can be their personal, you know, we are allowed to have a social presence, a social life, but I feel like maybe what they would be looking at for your views and your ideologies on certain global issues, especially about political issues. So if the US would be judging based on, which challenge am I joining, you know, which dance trend am I joining, I don't think it's what they are looking at. I think maybe generally they just want to see people's mindset. But this brings me to the next question. I'll start from you. With this, how do you think moving forward applicants should handle the matter now? Because we have it at the back of our heads now that if you're applying for a US visa, your past 5 years social media history has to be intact.
Yeah, just like what he said, I think we need to, retrace our steps and mind the things that we post on X. It's not just on social, it's across all social media platforms, you understand? So you have to, make sure, or you have to make sure that everything you post out there, is a meaningful content, and not just meaningful content. You should equally have at the back of your mind that the world is literally looking at you. We have come to the age whereby everything is now transparent,
digital,
and digital, so everything you post there must be. And then again, all the applicants, all visa applicants, I think it's high time all your username, if you just started using social media of recent, make sure that all your usernames, you're saving every single thing. I think we have notes on our phones, so you can be saving them in your notes. Yeah, if
notes can get missing too.
Just find a way, use Google Drive, you store all those things, because if you don't need it, if they don't need it today, they'll still need it tomorrow.
I like that you said that. Now, Mr. Clifford, over to you. Do you now think that this policy sets a precedent for other countries, and do you advise that the Nigerian government should adopt this measure for other people that might want to come into Nigeria? Did you hear that, Mr.
For me,
Clifford?
I think it's a welcome development. If I have more opportunity, if I were to be the president, I will enact such laws. You understand? Because these kind of laws, it will help us to retrace ourselves as humans and get to, buy our cultures and our traditions. The normal human culture and tradition is first empathy for humanity.
Exactly.
Why human culture and tradition is first empathy for humanity.
Exactly.
Why Mrs. Toji was talking, she made mention of people who take turns on person. There are persons who body shame on social media, talk down on human person and the rest. I think, knowing fully well that there is a law governing this, you will be mindful of the things that you post. You understand? Thereafter, you get to whatever you do, put humanity first. You understand? In any of your social media content, put humanity at first. And I'm wishing for every government or every state, every country to adopt this system. I think it will help to nurture our children, the youth, and everyone in the right path.
Exactly. I like that you said that it will help to nurture our children, because at the end of the day, we cannot all ignore that even though social media has its benefits, it has its disadvantage as well.
Exactly.
And we have been exposed to that, but finding a way to curtail the, the disadvantage of social media would not just impact our society, but governance as a whole, which I wanted to ask you, Ifoma, do you think that, with this law now, with this policy now, do you think that there would be a situation whereby in the future people can be denied visa if they check your social media history and they find whatsoever it is that they are looking for that they don't want? Do you think that it would even have as much consequence as them refusing a visa?
Yes. Them placing this or making this statement is kind of trying to, pass a message and at the same time a warning to the general public. You get that your social media, the things you post on your social media accounts matters a lot. So in respect to that, you have to ensure that whatever you push out there is actually something valid. You get, because it can actually mar you entering into US. So it's part of the things that they said. You can be denied visa. You get entirely. You get
that would be interesting to watch. So I feel, especially our Gen Z, that they should pay more attention to what they post on social media. But one more question, Mr. Clifford. The youths of these days, especially the Gen Zs, are very, very expressive. How do you perceive that they would take this policy? Do you think they would see this as a means to infringe on their, freedom of expression? Or do you think that this would be a season of reawakening for them to sit up and pay attention to what they put out there on social media?
Okay, thank you very much. I think I like that aspect where you said the Gen Zs, they are very good at expressing themselves. Sometimes people talk. One thing I will let you understand is this: talking is not easy. Talking is a very difficult thing.
It's not easy.
By the time you open your mouth, you tell the world who you are, what we say, what we post on social media. In fact, these days they say don't judge a book by the cover, but I can judge a person by their social media.
Exactly.
In as much as you want to express something, there are ways that you express things and it becomes very constructive. Not just talking down on somebody.
Exactly.
I could talk down on you, or there's a way I could express myself due to my dissatisfaction about a thing you do, and you will agree with me, depending on the tone I use. Now, our Gen Zs, they will look at it like some of them, per se, might see it as infringement of their fundamental human rights, maybe freedom of expression and the rest. But who cares? The most important thing is that our children learn how to express themselves publicly.
We care.
That's what I'm just after.
Yeah.
Remember that when you express yourself, when you talk outside, you are not just representing yourself. You represent your family. And you represent your
society.
Community in the sense of the country that you come from. You understand?
No, that's valid, Mr. Clifford.
They should say, this person is a Nigerian because this person is good mannered.
All right.
So I think it's a wake-up call. The Gen Zs that may see it as infringement of their freedom of expression, I think with time they will adapt. They will adjust, Abby. With time we adapt to know how to talk, to express ourselves constructively.
No, thank you so much. No, they will not do that.
And tomorrow you find out that you want to apply a job in that establishment. I know a lot of people who talk down on police and the rest, but today they are seeking for police job. So it's not bad.
No, we get your point, Mr. Clifford. It's just that another thing is that these people are very opinionated. But we'll get to that. We also want to tell our Gen Zs that are watching, we do care about your expression, please. But let's take a comment from the comment section. So this person is asking, what happens to people without social media presence? Is this also applicable to them? I think I want to start with Mr. Clifford. What do you think would happen to people without a social media presence?
I think it's even better. There are some persons, I know persons without social media it's better that when they want to search about you in social media, like Facebook, WhatsApp, as the case may be, they can't find anything. It's better. But in this generation, in this 21st century,
it's hard.
It's right that your identity cannot be found on the internet. If you should check my name, Okuzo Akpefo Domachi. Sorry, I'm trying to.
No, you're free.
This time. You will see myself on. You will see me on Google. You understand? If you search me on Google, you will see me, the books I've written and so many of that. But in the, I don't understand how somebody will go to secondary, the 4 walls of tertiary institution and not have
a social media presence.
History.
Okay.
No matter how bad it is, at least just try one. There is TikTok, there is Instagram, and so many of them. In as much as you don't want to belong, at least Facebook is quite okay so that people can find you.
Wait, at the same time, I think it's not everybody that is on social media.
No, to be honest.
We have grandmas. Now, you don't.
No, of course, yes, the elderly.
Those people they don't have social media handles.
They don't even know how to operate
now, let me say, for example, they want to go for what Igbo call Omogo, exactly. So how do they get into
that's another perspective. That's another perspective.
Without you viewing social media.
Maybe it's not applicable to a certain age group. Maybe it's just applicable to the youth. I don't know how they intend to do that, because that's a very valid point and way to look at it. But personally, I feel that in agreement to what Mr. Clifford said, in this day and age, I just think you should have a social media presence. I'm not saying be active, but have a social media presence. Because at the end of the day, in a situation like this, although when they ask for your social media handles and you're like, oh, I'm not present, it says a lot about you as well. Your silence is loud. It's saying that you are not moving with the times, you're not moving with the current trends, and you're not up to date. You are not trendy. So I don't know if people would pay attention to that and try and adjust it. I'm not saying you should post every single day on your social media, but at least have a social media presence.
And I wanted to
finally add, on that for the next
story. Something to that. Yes, we know you need to have social media presence, but we are equally in an era whereby your past is no longer your past digitally. You understand? I don't know if you're getting what I'm trying to say right now. So I think if you have anything incriminating in your formal post or your current post, I think it's high time you take that post down.
No, they don't need to tell you. You should know safety, that you should take it down. And also, we also talked about people that want to express themselves. I think a good idea on how to do that is to have a backup page. So you have your main page where you post serious things, serious-minded things, you understand? Then you have your backup page where you dance TikTok, you do whatever you want to do. That's totally fine. So when you go for your visa application, that's for your social media handle, you just give them that one.
You see that
at least you are present.
They say you provide 5.
No.
You provide 5, yes.
Oh, that's interesting.
Exactly.
So you just have the one that you will not provide, that is just for your own eyes. But just to wrap that up,
sorry, I have to cut you short on this. The US, they are very intelligent persons. Exactly. You understand? You cannot have different social media handle. By the time you give them one, they are going to search the rest and find you.
Yes.
Let me point this thing out to most of us. I have a friend that lives in Europe, Netherlands to be precisely. He told me on WhatsApp there's this end-to-end inscription, meaning somebody, a third party cannot read your message. He said that's actually not true. By the time you delete a message and say delete you take WhatsApp, this US government, they go to this WhatsApp and Facebook, they tell them, bring out this person's history.
So there's no privacy.
To be very honest with you, I'm not a saint, but there are things I posted on social media one time ago. Funny enough, I've lost the password of that Facebook account.
But the internet never forgets, huh?
I'll be like, this is not me. I wish there's a way
you can completely erase it.
I lost the password, but the content is still there. And sometimes people can go there and bring it forward. But this thing is just like he said, my past is my past. You understand?
And that's not your past anymore.
A person's life can change in the next 5 years.
Yes.
Just make sure from now to the 5 years, you are living in the right path.
Yes.
So you can give an excuse that I was living in ignorance.
If
you're making a current content, you should always rephrase so that's your past. That sometime ago I was like this.
Okay, you should just open up.
I was doing things like this. But now I've come to the actualization that this is the right path.
All right.
And whoever that is reading will know, oh, you was being ignorant, but now you've made amendment.
All right, Mr. Clifford, that's very clever. That's very clever. I like that. But we're going to move quickly to our next story. And it's about the ICPC chairman saying that punishment won't be enough to completely eradicate corruption from our country. And my question will go to you, Ifoma. Dr. Musa, who is the ICPC chair, has repeatedly emphasized that enforcement alone won't cure corruption. Do you believe preventive measures are more sustainable in Nigeria than punishment?
Yeah, of course, even though it's not obtainable most of the times in Nigeria
to prevent it, right?
Exactly, but at the same time I think it is better that you prevent something than you find solutions to treating it. I actually commend that particular statement he made. It's better that we curb this, you get, because like we discussed in the afternoon, in the morning, that the corruption starts from the local level. So we need to find out, investigate what causes this corruption. It's not about removing all those people that are causing the corruption, because if you are to, unseat those persons that are causing the corruption, new people will emerge and they'll continue from where others left in corruption. So it's to find out what are those. Is it bribery? You understand? Sensitize people. Just like ICPC stands for anything that has to do with curbing corruption. You understand? They are all about prosecuting. They are all about investigating. They are all about reviewing and educating the public or private institutions against corruption. I get that. I think
they should be able to.
Exactly.
Now, talking about sensitization, Mr. Clifford, do you think that ethics education, conducting a sort of ethics education for the general public will be able to help us prevent this graft and crimes and fraudulent activities from occurring in Nigeria?
Okay, education may be part of it. That is education and awareness, promoting education and awareness about the negative impact of corruption. That one may work, but there's one thing that I want to chip in, which is leadership by example. Oftentimes,
nice.
I don't mean to be good to anybody, but oftentimes our lecturers that teaches us these things, don't do this, don't do that, but we find them doing these things. You understand? So at the end of the day, we just be like, they are just teaching us for teaching's sake. So, but if they act on what they teach us, I think that would work better. So just giving educational awareness is not enough. We must lead by example. Because whether you like it or not, everyone is watching you. You understand? Just give me a few minutes to tell you this thing. I think while I was doing my NYC, I was the president of my CDS, environmental CDS. And I go about telling people about regular refuse dump and so many of that. One day I was in a vehicle traveling. I was in Onitsha. I didn't know that somebody that knew me when I went to do sensitization in the market was in that vehicle. The person had his camera on. He was waiting that by the time I'm done eating, I would throw those things through the vehicle window. But he was surprised. After eating, I took those things and placed it inside my bag because the vehicle, there was no basket. I placed it inside
commendable.
My bag. When I came back at Copy Week, I was not expecting I would throw it on the floor.
This person is determined.
Until I go home, I had to dump it in my refuse. Why did I do this thing? Because I've learned as a leader, whether you like it or not, people are watching you. Now, on a certain day, the guy called me and told me that, do you know that I was in that vehicle with you? And I have my camera on waiting so that by the time you do this thing, I can go and post it in your CDS platform and tell them that you are not doing
Mr. Clifford.
Leadership by example.
I love that.
To go and do awareness, sensitization, and all of those things. We must still live in our
by example. You preach,
devoid of corruption.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Clifford. That is truly commendable. Leadership by example will always be top tier. It is not just do as I say, but don't do as I do. But this brings me to my next question concerning the ICPC recovering billions. Yet we have a lot of court cases that have not been able to bear much fruit. Do you think that the ICPC is somehow enabling corruption by delaying justice?
Let me even touch a little bit on the judicial system or the justice system in Nigeria. You know, when a high-profile personality commits a crime, they somehow, according to, you know, research over the years, they somehow kind of pay the judges or the courts, and the court delays the procedures. They keep on delaying until the public forgets the crime they committed. You get, and then that's how it's being settled. So you could see that even Nigeria here, even in the international body, they ranked Nigeria as one of the highest in corruption. You get, the Nigerian has actually that portfolio, that, I mean, the high rank in corruption. So you now see somebody that is coming out to tell you, we don't want, we want to curb corruption, or we want to, you know, you get what I'm trying to say?
I get your point.
And I'm like, you have been in this system for a very long time and you didn't do anything, and you're coming out to, at the same time, you're not asking yourself, is this just a press statement? Will it end on paper, or will they actually enact these particular laws? That is actually the question I asked. Because if you check, corruption has always been in ICPC. It has always been in the judicial system. So
that is really heavy, that corruption has always been in the ICPC, which is supposed to be an independent body to curb corruption in Nigeria. If corruption is in ICPC, then where will corruption not be in Nigeria? But finally, to you, Mr. Clifford, how do you suggest, or what do you think Nigerians can actively do in order to prevent corruption? How do you think they should step in?
This is a big one. Because when we talk about corruption in Nigeria, it's a broad topic on its own. Because even in the church, it has eaten in the church. It is the person that is closest to
the pastor,
or to that becomes, they give the next bishop of that congregation. Even in the mosque, it is the person that is closer to the imam that gets the bigger share. So in a religious aspect, corruption is there. Co-aspects, corruption is there. Is literally no institution, including sports. There's literally no institution that you can think about in Nigeria without corruption. Even in our family, our parents, they have their favorite children, whether you like it or not. So,
wow.
One thing I was discussing this thing. Let me narrow it to the political aspect. A man told me that before corruption can end, any political party or any political leader that comes in place, the person has to swear juju. Sorry, I'm using this statement on live section.
Swear what?
He said he said if any leader wants to hand over public office in Nigeria, the person must swear in the traditional way. You understand? That's the only thing that people fear. But aside that, I think the best approach that we can use, or as Nigerians, that may reduce, because it can't totally eradicate it, to my own belief, but I think it can reduce it to a 70%, which is a pass mark. Wow. Just like I said, one is leadership by example, then education and awareness. There are people who do corruption without knowing that they are doing corruption. They actually thought is the right way. You understand? So when these persons are being taught about it, little or no wonder they start refraining from it.
Yes.
The other aspect, protecting our
briefly, let's do this briefly, Mr. Clifford, so that we can wrap things up.
Okay, protecting our whistleblowers, those who report corruption, we must protect them, because somebody cannot report corruption and then you vindicate, you unveil the person's identity. Another one is effective enforcement. Those rules that have been laid down, we must consistently enforce these anti-corruption laws and regulations. And then institutional reforms. And the last one, personalizing integrity. Knowing who you are. Just tell yourself, it begins with me. You understand?
Yes, thank you very much. Yeah.
Me, I think that would be the best.
Thank you so much, Mr. Clifford. Those are really valid points. And I hope that Nigerians are taking note. Thank you so much for joining us on the conversation over here at Active Citizens. It was a beautiful time with you. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, the pleasure is mine. Thank you very much.
All right.
God bless you.
All right. And as always, thank you, Ifoma Oji, my co-host, for always doing this with me.
Anytime,
it's always
any
a
day.
pleasure. And to our MVIPs, our viewers who always stick in to watch our videos, we really appreciate, and we're saying please remember that the comment section is for you. Whatever you want to say, feel free to share it right there in the comments. If you've not subscribed, you are wrong. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, do well to follow us across all social media platforms, and comment, because right now you've seen that this comment something and social media presence is a real thing, and it would either influence positively or negatively your international chances. This is Active Citizens Parliament. Until we see you tomorrow for Morning Pulse, do have a lovely evening.